Hey guys, welcome to another episode here on CrossFit Garage, where we are helping you to build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances. So I had thought of a couple things to put on today, but I had a conversation at the gym, and then that conversation was repeated later on in where were we, soccer or something? Anyway, it's why do we choose to do this? Why am I doing this? What benefits am I getting out of it? Why, Andy, are you doing CrossFit and working on your health and fitness and whatever? So I think I'm going to lead off with, it's been about 10 or 11 years that my weight has been 165 pounds, give or take a little bit as everybody moves around a little bit. But I don't know how many, and I'm pretty sure that's really close to my ideal weight. How many of us would, what would we do to be able to just simply be at or near our ideal weight for the next 10 years or whatever? And the track I'm on is probably going to be consistently into the future. So I would attribute most of that to just doing some sort of health and fitnessy thing every day. And that for me is CrossFit. And the next thing is picking up on different other healthy habits, whether it's nutrition or sleep or whatever, and trying them out. So other people talk about things that they do, and then I'll give it a whirl and see if it works for me. So probably the biggest thing for me inside of that is getting enough sleep. So I pretty much am always asleep by 10, and I wake up 10 p.m. and wake up at 6 a.m. And I also do not eat sugar currently. Now, will I hold on to that forever? Maybe. My dad's got some issues with cancers, and I have heard that cancer loves to eat sugar for fuel. I think even when they do the scan on you, they have you drink some glucose or high fructose or something. They have you ingest something that's got lots of sugar in it so they can see those cells light up. So in order for me to be around and meet my goal, I sort of need to not really die of cancer. So if limiting sugar does that, then I'm in. So why do I do this? My whole goal, and I've put it into a sentence, but I think the sentence needs to be unpacked. So I want to be healthy and fit enough to coach my kids in soccer. Okay, so does it really have to be soccer? No. The idea is kids, what does that put me? I'm probably 80 years old, and I am an active. So if I'm coaching their stuff, one, I'm involved. So, I'm in my 80s. My kids love me-ish enough to have me around where they need me. I don't know. And I have my faculties, movement patterns as well as mind, in order to facilitate some sort of practice that people would pay for, right? I guess if it's rec soccer, if you're that coaching dad, there's only so much. I would like to, if it is club soccer or soccer, I'd love to coach club soccer again later on for them. But anyway, so there is Alzheimer's in my family, however you say that, and Parkinson's in my family. And there are some articles about how CrossFit has reversed some of these effects, as well as maybe it's the motor pattern, maybe it's the neurological adaptation. I don't really know exactly what it is. Yes, it is true. I am not a doctor, and I did not sleep at a Holiday Inn Express. So this is just my experience throughout life and what it's helping me do. So interesting stories come out of this as other people get involved with CrossFit or just putting their health and fitness first. Now, there are some things that I'm not a huge fan of. If you only jog 5 miles every day and you do it in the exact same amount of time every day, or 5 miles is a lot. How about a 5K? I don't know, whatever. You jog something and it takes you, even if it's really good, let's say you do a 5K in 20 minutes and you do that every day. There's a diminishing return there. Eventually, you're not pushing yourself, so you're missing out on an aspect that intensity can give you. So you're not really pushing your body to thrive and survive, right? So I think Levi said it pretty well in an old podcast. He's like, your chest gets bigger because your body wants to survive. And as you lift weights, it's like, yeah, I should probably have a bigger chest. And so muscle and stuff starts growing there. Your body knows how to adapt. So if you're doing functional movements, which is CrossFit, I can still stand up. The other day, it's just stupid funny. So I'm at Costco buying a whole bunch of junk for the gym. We have our CrossFit Level 2 is coming up. So today is the September 15th, and tomorrow is CrossFit Level 2. So we're hosting that. There's about 30 people coming in to become better coaches. Anyway, I load up the truck full of stuff, and I needed to get into the truck to push things back into the bed. So I put my hands on the tailgate, and I basically did the finishing of a muscle up. I did a push and then a step, and then I was up there, right? I put both my feet up by my hands and standing up. And I didn't think anything of it. And this person beside me goes, dang, pretty good for an old guy. I'm like, oh, all right, thanks for the sort of compliment. But I am 50, so yeah, and my hair is white. But I was able to jump up on the back end of a car. And for me, that's nothing. I do that stuff all the time. But for that guy, he's like, dang, right? That's impressive. I don't think I could accomplish that. And that right there, just doing stuff is kind of the allure for me. So I'm going to go through some stories. And so, yeah, I guess I should probably tell you what you're going to hear in this podcast, right? So I'm going to go through some stories. I do have an outline because I'm trying to be less tangential. And it's going to be some fun stories that kind of revolve around what CrossFit has done for me. And then why I chose CrossFit. Why does it work? What doesn't it do? And what does it do? Some little bit of nutrition and then some extra stuff at the end about things. Actually, maybe I'll do that first just so you guys can hear this if you are quick on your podcast. So we do have Bring a Friend Week coming up. That is October 16th. And if you have a friend and they want to come, this is a great time to come. We will make the workouts a little bit easier for them as well as less complicated for everybody. Coach Laura has her nutrition. Habits-based nutrition coming up October 1st, so you can get involved in that. And of course, Jamie is launching said that wrong. She's not launching because she does it every year. She's redoing. Redoing sounds weird as well. Hot Shots. So Hot Shots is coming back. That's October 14th. I should just say my words. And maybe you guys don't know this, but this event is Jamie's event. This is not a garage event. I actually, and the gym has nothing to do with it. Besides the fact that we're like, hey, we will we'll gift you, whatever. We'll donate to you, whatever. The gym and all the material inside of it, go raise all the money you can raise. So this is something she does. She's super passionate about it. She has a story with her and Nick and friends in Arizona that revolve around this whole hot shot fire and so forth. I would encourage you to ask her why she does what she does and why she's giving away money like this. I always encourage her, hey, you should probably take some of that for yourself because you put a lot of effort into this. And but it's her event and it's an awesome event. Okay, so let me go back to the top. So some stories that you guys might find interesting, maybe funny, but will help you see why this, continually moving is probably to your benefit. Well, one, if you do, nobody has ever said, I can't wait till I'm 70 and my kids stick me in an old folks home so I can have somebody else wipe my ass and give me a shower because I can't do it, right? Or a bath, whatever they do. We want to be the masters of our own destiny. I guess if you don't want to be the master of your own destiny, then you probably don't need to be listening to this podcast. We are interested in helping people who want to be happy, humble, helpful people that want to be healthy and fit now as well as in their 90s, right? That's our mantra, our motto. So some things that have been interesting to me. So recently, one of our members went in to get some work done on, not work, that sounds weird, went in for a surgery, and they asked him in recovery, it went pretty good, except he had to stay in the hospital a little bit longer, and they asked him, hey, could you get on the walker and go around the hallways one time, make one loop? And he said, yeah, sure. So he went around, I think 5 times. They're like, dang, that was really good. So now he's back home, and he's going through PT, and they said, hey, we would like you to do, I forgot exactly what it was. It was some amount of minutes in cardio or whatever. And he was able to do 17 minutes, not the 3 or 4 that they were asking for. And they're like, dang, you have a lot of fitness on you. This is going to go well. So CrossFit or health, right? Fitness as a hedge against sickness to your health. This is something that I really pursue. So when we get sick, our biometric numbers, so your heart rate, your blood pressure, all that, as it moves to a negative capacity or a negative number, it's actually passing from fitness through healthy into sick. So when they look at their stats, like even my buddy Cam, he said the other day, he was sick from something and he went to the doctor to get, I don't even know what it was. Maybe he had the flu, he had something. And I remember what it was. He did, you shouldn't do this. We do every once in a while, we'll do the 10, 100 meter sprints. And without any practice warming up, well, there was some warm up, without any days, weeks before doing build up like we did at our gym, they were like, hey, let's just do this. And a bunch of the older community just said, yeah, let's run, and popped their hamstrings. So popped is relative. Some of them just pulled, some bruised, some did some worse than that. Anyway, so he was at PT and they're like, hey, you shouldn't be able to do what you're doing based on your age demographic and so forth. And he's like, oh, and they're like, can you stand up? Can you do this? Can you move? Can you pick? Can you do? And he's like, yeah, I can do all of that. And they're like, wow, what do you do? And he said, I'm just doing CrossFit. And they're like, wow, you're pretty fit for an old guy. And they're like, yeah. So that's cool stuff. When you are injured or passing from fit down to sick, you have to go through well because we have that hedge. All of our biometrics are better. Anyway, okay. So we go to, or the kids' school, Fellowship Christian, goes to Sharp Top for a retreat. And yay, nice, right? It's a lot of fun. And they ask parents to volunteer. So typically I volunteer every year. Very first year I went there, they said, hey, there is this mountain right there. It is Sharp Top Mountain, right? Cove. So there's mountains, and they're like, hey, would you like to climb it? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go up that mountain. So there's about 10 of us that went up the mountain, and nobody was really bringing any water. So I grabbed my backpack, filled it full of water, maybe like 15 bottles of water, and started hiking up the mountain. So here I am, not one of I'm probably at this time, let's see, I think that was Olivia's trip. So I was probably like 45. And no problem, went up the hill. As I stayed in the back to make sure people were okay. I was passing out waters, got to the top, handed out more waters, collected all the trash, and went right back down the hill, then went back to my job. And they're like, dang. I'm like, no problem. That's easy compared to what we do all day. Walking up, it was a pretty steep mountain, but walking up the mountain, no problem. Carrying people's gear. So just in that story right there, I put like 15 bottles of water in my backpack. Not a problem, right? Again, some fun stuff with Sharp Top and Camp Ocoee. They've got rope swings, and I am a 50-year-old man who likes to swing on the rope swings. Hey, that's fun. So not only swing, but the one at Sharp Top is 2 stories up, and it's pretty aggressive, and I love it. And if you do your knees just right, you can do a backflip off the rope, or let's see, I guess that would be a front flip off the rope. So I did. And the kids are like, well, dang. And all the older parents are like, well, dang. It's just fun. I just want to enjoy life and do things. And yeah, I didn't think it was impressive. It was just something that I wanted to do. But they don't expect older guys, and no other parent was doing what I was doing. So I guess they're right. We don't have to let feebleness win. Feebleness is chasing us down, and it does not actually have to win. We can fight this thing. Okay. So there is a tower at Camp Ocoee that we always climb. They got 3 sides. One is slanted, so it's easy for the kids to get up. The other side, straight with some wavy bits. It's a little bit harder. It's the medium side. And then there's the aggressive side. They've got a reverse incline, so you're climbing like outward. And then they've also got 3 shelves of or stair steps in reverse of harder and further length, right? So it's a deeper step. So basically you're hanging from your hands with your feet just dangling, and you got to walk your way out, get over the edge, and then pull yourself up. So, I've been doing that for years, and I'll do that one climb, and that's it. And, now I'll admit that the guy belaying me will typically jump off the wood and give me a little bit of help. So that's nice. Thank you very much. But, I am climbing this thing on the very difficult side and yanking myself up, and it's just CrossFit stuff. And yeah, I know, not really exactly that functional because it's a rock climbing wall, and it's, you don't really do that all your life, but it's cool. And I'm 50, right? Okay. So the next thing is, I do these adventure races. It's 12 hours or more. Sometimes it's 10 in the woods. You run bike canoe, and you have a map and a compass, and usually a team. So my teammates usually do the run and bike for a couple hours every day, and that's their training. I don't do that. I do CrossFit. And so we just go out and run, right? We go on the race, no problem. I took Evie on a race. She is a 15-year-old who plays a lot of soccer, and she did not wear me out. So that's awesome. I'm still engaging in creating opportunities of quality time, because, kids, you can't have quality time unless you give them quantity time, with them doing stuff that they enjoy, or at least I enjoy, and she joined me. But so another recent one, college unpacking. We had a lot of stuff. Well, girls, when they move into college, have a lot more than boys. But anyway, we moved 2 kids into college, and it just wasn't a problem. And watching the other dads struggle with gear and refrigerators and whatever is, it hurts your heart. It just takes, so I should go find this line and clip it out and stick it in there. Hopefully I'll remember to do this. But in the movie Central Intelligence, where I think it was it Kevin Hart and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson are talking. They meet it back up, and they're at coffee or whatever. And Kevin goes, dang, whatever the guy's name is, The Rock, Dwayne, you're big, you're huge. What did you do? And he's like, well, it's simple. Anybody could do this. All I did was, for the last 7 years, I worked out 7 days a week for 7 hours. And then, of course, Kevin's like, oh, yeah, I did some Pilates. But it is that simple. You just have to have time, let it compound. So I go do CrossFit. Today's workout took me, I think, 7.5 minutes. And I was dead and I was tired. It was it. That's all I wanted to give. That's all I wanted to do. I'm going to go back today and coach 2 classes of people doing exactly that workout. Some people will do it a little slower. There will be people doing it a little bit faster. But the thing is, it stacks up on itself. And when you move with intensity, you don't need to go jogging for 7 hours, right? So I'm able to race with my buddies, unpack, kids at college, no problem. I also have a small little farm and a lot of land to take care of. And it's not a big deal. I get to move things. Well, I get to. Yes, right. I get to move things around and pick them up. And sometimes my kids help me, and they're like, "Good job, Dad. I didn't think you could lift that." Right? Actually, they know better. Some other fun bits are getting PRs. So the last 15 years, the PRs is a personal record, and they come a little bit slower. Because, I've just done so many workouts and I'm getting older. So typically what I find is the Olympic movements I continually get better at because I am getting a little teeny bit stronger, but I'm getting a lot better in my form and mechanics. And the Olympic lifts are a lot about form and mechanics. So what was it? I think I've got some actual PRs that I did. There was one called Jerry the other day. I think I was 20 seconds behind my 2015 time. And it's like 2 miles of running and a mile of rowing. And to be 20 seconds off of my time like 10 years ago or something, that's stupid insane. Who wouldn't want that? So it's just beautiful to see that I can still do these things. And you could do it too. There's many guys in the gym. Actually, CJ is on the younger side compared to me. And he's like, I think I would like to do a muscle up. I think I'd like to see you do a muscle up. Let's try it. So we had time after the workout. There was some gymnastics in it. And I said, show me what you got. So we did. And I said, hey, so your right arm, I think needs to do more work. He said, all right, let me give it a shot. I said, so he did. And I was like, that's good. Next time, sit up when you're up there, sit a little harder when you go forward. And he'd say, boop, and he's up. And he's like, look at that. I'm like, that's exactly it. So doing cool stuff, having a coach lead you. Yeah, he could have done it on his own and he'd just videoed himself and watched it a few times. He probably would have gotten it a day or two. But having me standing there right there with him, that's like 5 minutes. And he's up and he's like, he says it's not a real one because he struggled. But man, if you start at the bottom with your hands on the bar and you're not touching the ground and then you work away to your top, that's it. Even if it looks kind of struggly. All of mine look struggly, so whatever. Actually, I have it in my notes right here. So the workout was Jerry, and I was 40 seconds slower than 2017, so not 20 seconds slower. But still, it's run a mile, row 2K, and then run a mile. So that's not bad at all, right? And then there was another opportunity. Hold on, I'm going to get some coffee here. Yes, I know, I'm cheating. I'm back on coffee, even though my race hasn't happened yet. That hurts. Okay, a little too hot. We in the Open this year in 2023, they repeated a workout from 2011, and you had to do a certain number of things. And at the end, it was like, "Hey, you're going to be doing some muscle ups." In 2011, I did 1 muscle up. In 2023, I did 3 muscle ups. So this is 12 years later. I am in that workout, right? I am 2 muscle ups fitter. What exactly does it mean? I don't know. But you know what? I can tell you one thing that it definitely means is I'm fitter than I was back then, right? And I can still do this stuff. You could probably go into nuancey stuff and say, well, maybe you practiced your muscle ups. I didn't. I haven't been practicing them very much at all. I practiced actually, I think it had Olympic lifts in it. I am getting a little bit better at those as time goes on. So yeah, you could probably say the training in that has done me right. But regardless, 12 years have gone by. I did that same workout and I did more of it. That's fitter, right? All right. So the other thing, let's see. I went with my Georgia Tech buddies and we went out to the Tallulah Gorge area. They said, hey, let's walk down to the gorge. I'm like, oh man, this might be tough because not all of us are doing stuff. And for me, it was no problem whatsoever. And I carried a bunch of water to make sure everybody was okay. And for me, again, I went down, went up, and I even wanted to go further down all the way to the bottom. You have to get a permit for that, which I didn't know about. And no problem whatsoever. We hike to the Linfoot Hike-In every December. So the kids and I have been going up. Actually, when we started going up, I would get one of those kid carrying backpacks and stick a kid in the backpack and hike them up. And yeah, I was doing CrossFit back then, right? So now we do this. It's a 5-mile walk up, then a 5-mile walk out. No problem. Everyone carries their own stuff. And it's just a hike. I don't think it's a big deal, but there are a lot of older people doing that hike and they struggle. I already talked about this. Cam and his PT, it went pretty easy. I haven't done any PT stuff. Actually, today I went to the dermatologist, and it was kind of funny. The nurse, the first nurse you see, I don't know what they're called. We'll just go with nurse. Brandy. She's doing her questionnaire, and she's like, "Okay, so are you on any medication? I'm like, no. She's like, oh, well, that's interesting. Are you recovering from any like surgeries? I was like, no. She's like, well, when was the last surgery? I'm like, it was probably like 10 or 15 years ago. I don't know. And so she's like, oh, so she's putting like NA and none and NA and none for all these things that I do. She's like, okay, what about this, and this? I'm like, I don't take medicine. Who's your primary doctor? I don't even really have a primary doctor. It's Dr. Lee by the Woodlands. And just because I see him if I ever have to go anywhere. And I don't even know if he's really a general practitioner anymore. But I don't exist to them. Their confirmation bias says everybody has issues because doctors see people with issues. She's like, huh, that's interesting. I don't see very many people who don't take anything. I'm like, yeah. And so anyway, there was another question. I can't remember what she asked, but she was surprised that the answer was also no. It was probably something like, do you have emotions? And I said, no, I don't have any. But I don't remember. Anyway, the other thing that is kind of will get you is as you get older, none of us have ever said, right, I want to go to an old folks home. I want to be put in an old folks home. If you want to scare yourself, go to one and see what's going on there. It's not hard to avoid it. Just stay active. They say some of the number one things that take people out is they lose their balance, they fall over, they break their hips, and they never really come back from it. So don't lose your balance. One of the 10 general physical principles that CrossFit really pushes to endear you to is balance, right? There's all the other things too, strength, stamina, speed, whatever, accuracy, but balance is in there. So we want you to stay balanced, be able to stay on your own 2 feet or catch yourself when you can. Joe, another fun one, Cam threw out there. We were talking to him, I was talking to him about this. He said, yes, every man should have it on their goal to die at 99 at the hands of a jealous husband. So I don't know if that really counts for most of us, but that's funny. So it's in there. He had also thrown out there, he's like, I just really enjoy the fact that I can play pickleball and golf and use the toilet all on my own and I have no problems. It's a lot of fun. Maybe not the toilet, but the other 2 things. Also, the other aspect that he and I both said that we really enjoyed was the community. So we build bonds with people that are doing this. I think basic training has it right. If you really want people to like be in your foxhole with you and be on your side, go through some adversity with them. So it's fun to say to like one class versus the next, like, hey, they did it this way. How did that feel? Or you talk to someone who did it in a different class, or at the same time, hey, was holding on to the kettlebell today, was that tough? No, it was all in the box jump. Like, oh, that's fascinating, right? Okay. So why I chose CrossFit for myself. At the beginning, I was playing flag football and I noticed I was not able to pull flag. So a bunch of my college fraternity brothers continued to play flag football, and we would recruit other other brothers as they graduated to join us. So we were a very unlikely group of older gentlemen playing in a flag football league near Tucker, Georgia. And we could hold our own because we had good plays and we knew what we were doing because we practiced in college, right? But anyway, I was playing flag football. And I was a rusher, and I started missing more and more flags. I thought, that's interesting. I am losing my step. I also had just found adventure racing, and my wife would say when I'd go out of town, I would usually just jog around, and I'd come home, and then I'd try to go do some biking or some jogging. And she'd like, really? You were gone for 4 or 5 days, and you are now going to go out and like spend more time by yourself doing something when we've got family, and it's your children that you helped create. I'm like, huh. I feel like you're trying to tell me something. So anyway, I needed something that would push myself and train myself. I also missed that push that you would get in playing high school or college sports. I say college sports. I didn't really play college sports. I sort of faked it until they found out I sucked and then they kicked me off, right? But if you played sports competitively, you understand that feeling. So I missed pushing myself. I also really hate endurance training, and I do endurance racing, which the race is fun, but training for it is stupid. I hate it. So I'm able to do these 12 or 24-hour races, and I'm just doing CrossFit. So yes, it does work, and I don't change anything. Again, I wanted to have that team mentality or like-minded people along for this journey. So it's a lot of fun when you're around people. Like in our gym, the motto, happy, humble, helpful people who want to be healthy and fit now as well as in our 90s. We say that enough, and we I don't know, you self-select for that as people come into the gym and looking and they're interested. We'll read this off to them and like, hey, does that sound like you? And if they're like, no, not at all. I'm like, well, this probably isn't going to be a good gym for you, right? So we fill the place with people that have the same philosophies. So now it's not just me, it's everybody in there. Like, hey, everybody, like this morning, weirdly, we had 15 people in the 7:30 class, which I know some of the evening people came in early. So I won't see you guys when I'm coaching, but it was great because everyone was like, "Oh, I know you, and you're from there." Oh, and conversations were being had, and people were saying hi and high fives. It's people that are similar in mentality, like, the glass is half full, and we're on this road of fitness together. It's just a lot of great. So I mean, man, I can't lie about this one. Well, can't lie. I never lie. Well, hardly ever lie. I guess that's a lie right there. So because I'm an engineer, or I just am frugal, I want the biggest return on my investment. And CrossFit has shown me time and time again that it is the best return on your health and fitness investment for the time you give it, right? The next part of it is it's coached and it's fun. So if I'm having fun, then I'm coming back. And if the coach is watching me and saying, "Hey, Andy, do this," like today, Danny's like, "Hey, make sure you pop your hips." I'm like, great, because I was doing a little bit more of a squatty potty kind of kettlebell swing. So even I get coached, which is great. So there's literally somebody there watching you to make sure you do things correct. And this is going to increase your efficiency, which is going to even further increase the amount of impact your effort has. So it's just beautiful to me. Literally today was like 7 minutes and 36 seconds in the workout. And you're like, does that move the needle? Hell yes, it moves the needle. And it only took me, the class was still an hour long. We did other stuff. But you literally could go warm up for 15 minutes, do the workout, and leave if you wanted. I definitely stretch and roll still, but there's that. I already mentioned this as a hedge against sickness. I think I'm going to do a podcast completely about these viruses that keep popping up and what you can or can't do. I know it probably won't be popular, which is totally fine. This is me living the life I live right here, right now. And I get it that it was very different depending on the region you're in, and people's mindsets were different, and I don't hold it against them, but anyway, I'll do an entire podcast on that, but it is a great hedge against sickness. Mobility, right? So just jumping up on that truck. Again, for me, no biggie. I just put my hands on the tailgate, did a little pop, and then put my feet up, and I'm in the truck. I don't think 50-year-old people typically are going to be doing that. So this is something that we want to gain. And yes, I do spend time, like I do whatever the warm-up is, the coach says. I also stay and do rolling every day. So I'm a little bit more particular about it. But in general, because you have a full range of motion, you're going to have better movement patterns, and you're just going to be more flexible because you're moving through that full range of motion. When I say full range of motion, basically imagine squatting all the way down and then standing all the way up. And I'm not talking about a little half squat. I'm like your butt is almost touching your feet, that type of squat, right? And we're going to coach you through that. So I think the other cool thing is you get to learn new skills. So the other day we had a new movement that I hadn't done before. Oh, man. I can't think of what it was. Well, I know there was a stretch we did. It was a curtsy stretch. So it was like a lunge, but you're doing a curtsy, kind of like if you were a Olympic ice skater and you're doing that little like swish, swish with your legs. But anyway, there's always something new to learn. And I think that really helps the gray matter in your head, especially if you're like me and you want to hold off things that you know are in your family, like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. So having your brain continually learn stuff, or that neurological adaptation, so my body and mind have to work together, my nervous system's getting involved. That's just awesome, right? I think one other fun thing that's just it's maybe not great. Maybe it's what is the funny one? My best quality is my humility. I am the best at being humble. So this isn't very humble, but it's still funny. At 50, yes, I've been doing this for 15 years, and I don't know. I look like an okay older guy. I am definitely not like strapping, and nobody would ever come up to me and say, "Dude, you're bulky." That's not it. I'm definitely athletic, but I keep my clothes on. That sounds weird. I do keep my clothes on. I don't take my shirt off when I work out, so you're not going to notice much of anything. But it is fun to get a brand new person, and okay, pause right there. I love the internet. My wife is calling and she comes first, so I hit pause and I lost my train of thought, sort of. But man, this technology is great. To be able to do what we're doing and to relay information, dang, this is a great time to live. I love this. I know there's craziness going around, but whatever, man. Life is great. Okay, so yeah, I remember what it was. It was Humble the Young. So it's fun when some of the younger guys come in and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to totally crush that old man right there." And I usually don't tell anybody I'm the owner of the gym. I'll do some texts and maybe they can put context clues together, but I don't introduce myself as, "Hey, I am Andy. I am the owner of the gym and I've been doing CrossFit for 15 years. You're about to get your ass whipped," right? It's just fun to be like, I wasn't maybe the first guy done, but I'm definitely in the top like couple, right? So anyway, it's just kind of fun. That though comes, I mean, it's sort of cheating. I've been doing it for 15 years. I can look at a workout and pretty much know roughly what my time is going to be. But it is still fun to be able to compete, even though I'm not in the same age bracket as a lot of the people. Maybe I don't know. I think our average age, is like 30, or I could go back and look. Maybe it's either 37 or 47. It's probably 47. Anyway, I don't know. I have to go back and look. Okay. So why does it work? One, you're learning new things. There's a coach that's going to teach you. Then there's the intensity. Intensity is what breeds this adaptation. So it's if you go look up CrossFit intensity and why, and it'll give you a whole report on it. But think of a Olympic sprinter and their body type. That's what we're aiming for versus a long distance marathon runner or a power lifter. Okay. So we don't want those two. We want to cross that fitness boundary and end up looking more athletic. It does not, well, I'll get into what it doesn't do in a moment. I think if you do hard things, you get better, right? So if it's hard for you to walk to 5 mailboxes and you do it, then tomorrow you'll probably be able to do 6, or maybe not tomorrow, but you get the point. If you push yourself and do the hard thing, your body will respond, even if you're older. Feebleness is chasing you down. Push that bad boy away. Tell him no, right? Okay, so fight feebleness. That was actually the next bullet point. So perfect. Okay, so what it doesn't do. CrossFit definitely does not body sculpt you. So Levi had to make a choice. Hey, do you want to do CrossFit for athletics, or do you want to get swole like a big teenage boy? And he's like, yeah, actually, I want to be big, Dad. So he needs to do something totally different. CrossFit will not make you bulky. So if your body sculpting would be something like, I want my forearm to be bigger because I need it to match the size of my bicep. It's not going to do that. It's just going to make you, which is great sometimes. And sometimes people are like, wow, I get really big traps when I lift. Well, there's an easy way around that. Just don't shrug when you're doing your lifts, and that'll change. But I mean, I would love to have bigger traps. I just don't really shrug all the time. And I know I'd say it is easy, just shrug, Andy, and I still forget. But it just makes you more of who you are. And your coach is going to help kind of guide you a little bit, but it's not going to change the fact that this is just what your body wants to build and grow like. So this is who you are. You will be more athletic and you'll be more able to do all the things out there. We already talked about that, but it does not make you bulky and it does not body sculpt you. The other thing that it doesn't do, it doesn't make you lose weight fast. Instead, what it does is it makes your clothes fit better because you're gaining muscle, which weighs more. It's more dense, like me, I'm dense. It's more dense as a body part than fat. So as fat, which weighs, comes off your body, it's replaced with muscle, which weighs more, but it doesn't, it pushes out in better ways, right? So you want to see the muscles of your abs, not the fat of your stomach, right? So you have to kind of be okay with the fact that unless you partnered up with some decent nutrition, it's going to take some time to really start seeing the scale change much because you're becoming athletic and we're adding muscle and you're getting toned. So I think if you asked, and I do ask, so I shouldn't say I think, this is what happens. I ask people all the time, hey, what are your goals? They're like, I want to lose 10 pounds. I mean, great. When you say I want to lose 10 pounds, describe to me what that means to you. And they're like, my clothes fit better. I look good in a bathing suit, right? I'm like, okay, so what you're really saying is you want to be toned and you want to lose some of that fat that's hiding your muscle. They're like, yes. I'm like, yeah, we could totally do that. If you just want to lose weight, what I would suggest is go find yourself a wrestler, ask them what they do, and follow it. So they're going to tell you, start chewing dip and spitting, get yourself in a plastic bag, put your arms and heads through it, jump rope in a steaming room, and then give yourself an enema. All those things will help you lose weight. It's just water weight, but yeah, you could lose 10 or 15 pounds in a day. You might die, but you could. I don't think what anybody's really after. They want, yes, lose weight, but for whatever reason, that's just the thing that comes up first. That's not really, if you ask why, they're going to come up with a different answer. Like, I want to lose weight because I want to be more energetic and be able to play with my kids. Well, if I just chopped off the fat off your stomach, that wouldn't give you any of the other stuff. They're like, yeah, okay, right. I don't really want to just lose weight. Think about it yourself. That is a valid, right? Actually, email me. What are your goals? Andy@CrossFitGarage.com. Let me help you write those up. Okay. What it does do for you is make you more athletic, and it moves all those health and fitness metric stats to a better place. So your resting heart rate is going to be lower. That way, when you get sick, it just moves to what people would consider well. So you're doing yourself a huge favor by being fit. Yes, I know. You should partner this with some sort of nutrition habits. I am not a fan of counting macros. I like what Levi has done. He's done it enough. He can look at it and say, that's what I want to eat, and I know how much it is. That's awesome. He doesn't have to weigh and measure everything. Now, if you want to really track stuff, weighing and measuring for like a week or a month is going to help you understand what you're eating. I just don't like doing that. I like the habit side of it. So easy habits are things like I don't eat after 8 p.m. and I don't eat until lunch. I mean, that's pretty aggressive, but if you did that, you're increasing your fasting window and decreasing the time in which you eat. Thus, you are decreasing the calories you will eat. I mean, it's just harder to eat more when you give yourself less time to eat. There's other habits you can put in there, like eating a couple almonds before you go eat. That way your brain is already thinking, no, I'm not as hungry as I thought I was, right? Okay, so the other thing that I've been fascinated with is learning about nutrition. I sort of just hit on that, but Laura has been a huge help, not just for me, but for my family. So one thing, what do they call that? The proximity bias. You can't teach the people that are closest to you because they just won't listen. So I have hired my own coaches to coach my kids, both in nutrition and doing one-on-one sessions, because it's helpful, and it's a goal that they want to reach. Levi even mentioned the fact that Laura taught him something that he then started researching on his own, like this is like a year later, to capitalize on. So that's awesome. Yeah, I could have told him the same thing, but I'm his dad. He's not going to listen to that, right? So having other people, whether it's Laura, which again, she's doing her... I think this is going to come out right before it starts, and she's only taken, I think, 7 people. So email her or email me, and then I'll send it to her if you're not in. But it's Andy@CrossFitGarage.com. It's 28 days or 31 days or something like that of habit-based nutrition. It's awesome. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of habits versus starvation. If you're going to starve yourself, man, why even do it? You're just going to bounce right back and you're going to weigh more. It's just, those starvation diets are the dumbest thing on the planet. I would run as soon as, if somebody says, oh, I can help you lose 10 pounds in a month, run, because they're going to mess you up. Okay. So other things that I've really enjoyed is the simplicity in training and programming. The programming is eloquent. And when I program for the gym on my own, it takes me about 10 hours to do 1 month of programming. And it's because I want to drill in and make everything flow and get just right. And there are guidelines, parameters, methodology to programming that CrossFit would like us to follow. Right now, we're just actually following CrossFit's affiliate programming, which is great because it's exactly what we want to do. We do add some things in there. So I pretty much will go to the gym, except for right now because Evie's in soccer and 2 of the days I take her. So I'm going to do some sort of run or bike for those days. If it's not soccer, I'm at the gym 5 days a week. So I hit every day that's meant to be hit in the way it's meant to be done, right? But not everybody does that. So if we have, let's say we do the lifting day and we only did lifting on Tuesday, but Timmy never comes on Tuesday. Well, he's never going to get that aspect. So we layer things in a little bit more than what CrossFit would want, but it's because people don't come all the time. And this is why if you see at the gym, I'm rolling and not doing something extra, it's because I was there every day and I already caught that thing, so I don't really need it. So like today, it was, I actually do love this one. So it's a static position with your arm. You got something heavy in your hand, holding it above your head, and then you walk 400 meters for as long as you can, so you have to put it down. And so you're static in your shoulder, but dynamic in your movement. And that's going to build a lot of core strength as well as a lot of shoulder strength, which I have issues with my shoulders. So I probably just for that sake should have done it. But my legs have been burning ever since I was goaded into doing more weight than I should have because I'm an idiot. And so I wanted to take extra time to roll out my legs. So listen to your body. Coffee break. Oof, boy, that's still hot. Okay. So, and then the training itself. When I say she, if it's not me or Skylar, it's one of the girl coaches, and I'm usually in their morning class. But when she says 3, 2, 1, go, I know the end is near. So we're going to be working out, usually about 12 minutes, sometimes 20, sometimes 30, very few times 45, but I'd say the majority of the time, it's about a 12-minute workout. Even some things that have built-in rest, right? It's 30 minutes of, but there's really actually some built-in rest, so it's not really that much. And when it has built-in rest, that means you're supposed to go downtown, right? Run real hard. So I just love it. It's just, it's functional movements that we do all the time. So it's stuff that like, hey, would you stand up? Great. Would you stand up with a bar? Great. That's a deadlift. Okay, so things that I have had that I worked through with CrossFit. So the other thing that I see us happen to us, and I'll say it as an older guy at 50, but this happens usually when people find that turning point in their life where they're not as athletic as they were, and they're out there doing something, and then they hurt their thing, their foot, their arm, their hand, their whatever, their toe, and they're like, I'm going to work out again when it feels better. Guess what? It never feels better. What you should do is just go and work out. So I have had shoulder, like right when I started doing CrossFit, my shoulder would pop out of socket. Just, you could say, I could sneeze and my shoulder would go bloop, bloop. And so I worked through that. I stepped in a hole while in a race and my ankle swelled up the size of a grapefruit, and I worked out through that. I messed my back up trying to chase down a 400-pound deadlift, which is one of the dumbest things I've ever done in CrossFit. It's funny what numbers will do to you. 4 is a great number. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 to the power of 2 is still 4. So I love it. 4 is a great number. And then zeros, they're round. So 400, it's got, that beautiful number 4 and then 2 zeros. Why wouldn't I try to go for a 400-pound deadlift? If I went over to Europe and I went to go lift, they don't even have a 400-pound deadlift because they use, not kilometers, they use kilograms. So 400 pounds is nothing to them. They're going to do like, I don't know, a 200 kilogram lift. So the number is stupid. Why did I do that? I don't know, but it sounded fun. So I thought, hold my beer. I'm going to do it. And I did get it. It took me about 8 months and I paid for it when I finally did do it. It was the dumbest deadlift you'd ever seen, but it went from the floor to, the standing position all in one movement. It was just a really ugly movement. And now I need to roll my back out all the time. If I roll my back out, my rolling routine is about 5 minutes long. So if I roll my back out, I usually have no problems. If I forget to, I usually get a day or two of grace before my back is like, hey, remember to roll me out. So I don't know. I did something back there. The muscles always get grumpy on me, but I can still deadlift and do everything else. I just don't do deadlifting heavy. Anyway, but what I did do is I still worked out through that. So my back did hurt and I was like, whatever, I'll go in and see what I can do. It was beautiful. One of the coaches, I think it might have been Jamie, said, hey, so your back hurts? I'm like, yes. She goes, how about you just sit on that rower and row and then see what your back feels like. I'm like, that's a great idea. Thank you. I think I'll do that. So while everyone else was doing whatever they did, I just sat on the rower and rowed and made nice long pulls, short pulls, did all this stuff, and then got off and rolled my back out a bunch. Like, I actually feel really good now. Thank you so much for the advice. This is what she does. Weirdly, I would do the exact same thing for somebody else. I just couldn't think of it for myself. You know how that goes. You just can't see your own forest because of the trees, right? Or the plank because of the splinter in your eye, something like that. I don't know. So anyway, work out through injuries. Don't stop, because if you stop, you'll never come back. Try CrossFit. Come to the Bring a Friend. I've actually told my members, if you've got a 1 or 2 people that you'd like to have do CrossFit and just give it a shot and see, I would give them your own class. You bring them. Well, talk to me, and then we'll set up a time and they'll come in. I'll have them work out with you, and it'll be good old time, right? So we do have alumni week coming back up. So if you've been with us for 3 months or longer, that way basically you can step right into class. Hey, there's a week just here for you because we want to say thank you for your years of business in the past. And here's a week. We hope you would come back, but you don't have to. You just come in and your waiver's already in file. Have fun. Of course, be smart. Don't do silly things. How not to try CrossFit is to just jump straight into classes. We used to do this all the time. Man, we were so bad. Hey, Timmy, welcome to the garage. You're here to see what it's about? Great. Class is about to start. Let's just sign this waiver and jump in. That is the dumbest thing. If you go to a CrossFit gym or any gym and they're like, hey, just jump straight in, you need to run, because what it means, so business-wise, what it means is they don't know their own business and they don't know their own people and they don't have enough staff to actually do the thing that they should do correctly. So they are accommodating for their lack of staff and methods and procedures by saying, whatever, just jump in. So not only are you going to do stupid things, but the people who are paying full price in the class aren't going to be coached as well because the coach is going to be worried about you. So all the way around, that's a dumb thing. Don't jump straight into it. Okay. What else was I going to tell you? I think that's about it. That's pretty good. So this is why I'm doing it. This is why I enjoy it. I think some of the other things that have bled through that I just really hadn't thought about until I started doing podcasts with people or our members is that our kids see what we do. And my kids have a lifestyle of health and fitness. So 3 of them are CrossFit Level 1 certified or certificated or whatever they call it these days, and did some coaching over the summer. They may do some coaching in college. I don't know. They're still working out their schedules. Or they may come back and just do it here with us. Whatever. It's just fascinating that they're on board. I think everyone would want to say we want our kids to be healthy and fit as well. For them to see mom or dad doing this stuff is fantastic. Jamie runs actually it would have just finished by the time this podcast comes out, but she's doing a kids fall break for Cobb County and Cherokee County back to back because they're 2 different weeks, and parents are bringing their kids in. That is awesome. We're going to teach them some stuff. We will probably teach them the same things you would have taught them, except it's not you. So they're going to listen, and you're going to be like, dang it. And you just don't get mad. Just take a deep breath and go, well, I'm glad you learned that, right? It took me years to do that. I used to tell my kids all the time when they'd come back and say, hey, Coach Fred said this. I'm like, man, I have told you that for years. So rather than fight it, who cares? I don't care about being right. I just care that they're doing their stuff. So anyway, that's been an awesome thing. I think the other thing that's been a lot of fun that I really didn't know CrossFit would give me is that community. When we started this years ago, back in 2007, in 2008, we started the gym. In 2007, we were all working out in our basements or our garages, and we had crappy gear, and we just wanted to be able to bring people together so that we could buy gear and people could use it, because it was really hard to get gear back then, and it was a lot more expensive, and it fell apart a whole lot easier because nobody intended to use it like doing CrossFit. So dropping barbells the way we do, like that was not what you were supposed to do. So having those people come together, then creating a community of people that are interested in health and fitness, and then even narrowing it down a little bit more to our, slogan. It's been awesome. It's been a great trip. I often think, if I didn't do this, what would I be doing? And then I always come back to it. Well, I'd probably still be doing this. So I guess I'm in it for the long haul. All right, guys. Again, I am Andy McCann, owner of CrossFit Garage. If you need help in health and fitness, you can email me, andy@crossfitgarage.com. You can also find us online. We're on Facebook and Instagram pretty actively. I don't do many of the other socials. I am in Noster if you're into that. But we are here to help you. Our goal is to help you become the hero of your own story as we build a firm foundation in fitness, food, and finances.